Okay, hello everybody with Owls TV. We are here today at the Southern Hemp Expo and just really fascinated with all of the non-cannabis oil products, a lot of industrial hemp products, and so I just wanted to talk a little bit more with Cameron, and if you could talk a little bit about your business, what you do, and just talk about these fascinating blocks and just like the industry that is industrial hemp. Please.
Sure, yeah, cheers. Thanks, Luke. Appreciate it. Glad you're here. Also glad to see that there's a little bit more fiber at these shows finally. But yeah, so my company's called Americhanvre Hemp. We're out of Allentown, Pennsylvania. We're a Hempcrete installer and equipment and materials supplier specifically for building with Hempcrete. So the method of installation that we use for Hempcrete is spray application.
So let's dial this even back further for somebody who has no idea
Suck it out,
of what is Hempcrete.
Sure.
For someone who doesn't know,
Sure.
What is that?
Sure. So Hempcrete is a biocomposite insulation and walling material. It's a combination of the inner woody core or the hurd of the hemp stalk and a lime-based binder. So we combine those materials basically to create a matrix of air pockets that gets trapped in the wall, which gives you your insulation value.
And that's what this guy in the background here is doing,
Yep.
right? So he's
Yep.
spraying basically the in between the walls.
Correct.
And it turns into this.
That's right, yeah. So even though it has a masonry-like quality, it is not structural. And I'll be the first to say Hempcrete's a terrible word for it. It is first and foremost an insulation material, but it does improve the structural integrity of the wall, and you are creating mass in the wall. So it's similar to a home like a stone home or a log cabin where it really does a great job of holding and absorbing and retaining heat energy.
Yeah, I think for anybody who doesn't remember the pink fiberglass that like your parents told you, like don't touch that stuff when
Horrifying.
you're going into the attic or whatever it is.
Yep.
And yeah, so I think just that in itself, like the stuff that like just bits of glass sometimes in there, like is going to like, wreck your hands.
Exactly.
And now we have something that is. Can you tell us a little bit more about it in terms of sustainability, or
Sure.
just even it's how it's much better at insulation, right?
Sure.
Than fiberglass.
Yeah, it's got a considerably high degree of thermal and fire resistance. So great insulation. It's damn near fireproof, which is probably one of the most incredible things about it. It does not smoke and will not ignite when exposed to open flame. It can be destroyed by fire, but it's not as flammable as traditional building materials. It's also not as toxic as traditional building materials. So that's another thing that we're seeing, I think, a bit of a phase shift with, where people are realizing that the materials they build their home out of are actually as important to your health as the food you eat, your lifestyle habits, things like that.
Yeah, 100%. And for an industry like this, where you're competing with billion-dollar plastics, insulation, you name it. How's the price in comparison to, say, builders starting out? They're maybe looking at, is this stuff even? They can't even price it out. The industry's so small. That's something what I hear more often than not.
Sure, yeah, and it's tough. We usually tell people it's anywhere from 10 to 30% more than traditional construction.
Okay.
That being stick built with the fiberglass insulation, drywall, and all that, but. You've got to think of it, and I'm always careful to frame it for people as though it's sort of a loss leader like geothermal or solar, where yes, you are going to pay a whack up front, but let's say within 10 years of a mortgage, you'll have paid that back in the savings alone. So it's a cost of ownership benefit that you really have to be aware of. And I think that's an education issue that we all have to kind of deal with. The low price often comes with a hidden cost, and whether that's food, materials, textiles, buying something from Walmart might be cheaper, but you're destroying your community.
Term, right? What is the long
term? You're
term?
destroying your community and the planet in the process. So get real about it. The low cost, someone pays that missing low cost.
Absolutely.
You might pay it with health. You might pay it in terms of energy bills. The planet picks up the check. Your children pick up the check.
100%. Now, with options like this, though, people can actually choose a couple of different options for building their home.
Correct.
If I'm right in remembering, option A is hey, I'm building a house, I'm going to subcontract to your business, you come in, we'll take over, we'll make sure everything's done correctly. Or option B is you rather than just give the fish, you want to teach them how to be the fisherman.
Correct.
And you can also purchase a piece of equipment, get trained on it, so then you can start your own business, right?
That's right.
If you wanted to.
Yeah, that's right. So we have a distribution agreement with Erezy out of France to distribute this equipment and also get it made here in the United States.
And what is this equipment, if you can explain?
So that's the spray application equipment. It's essentially this mortar mixer that we have over here is the heart of the equipment, and it basically is where we combine the hemp hurd with the lime binder and the water. It spits out a pre-finished mix onto a table, which is then raked into a hopper box. The power for the system comes from an air compressor. So that air compressor is hooked up to the lance, and the lance creates suction and delivers the material to the wall. So caveman simple in reality, but the binder is what allows us to do that. So very high performance binder compared to traditional hempcrete mixes. It's much more lightweight, much more efficient, better insulating value, and a lot faster to put in. It's about 60% faster.
Yeah, people often think it's just something as simple as, hey, I just combine this stuff with lime, right? But but it's not. There's a lot more to it, and I'm sure there's a hell of a lot of work that your company has put into getting this dialed.
To get it to the point where we're accepted via the code enforcement community and also contractors in general, there has to be some standardization, and we have to be using materials that have been tested and certified for doing what we're asking them to do. So,
and where are we at as an industry on that? I mean, it seems like it's been built from whether this has never really been done before.
Correct. Yeah, so the biggest holdup for us, I would say, is the processing capacity. We have very few farmers in the country. In 2018, when the Farm Bill was signed, went to growing fiber industrial hemp. They all focused on CBD. CBD is wonderful, don't get me wrong. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. But some of that time and effort now needs to shift towards relearning how to grow a crop that we haven't grown here in 80 years.
Do you have an idea of what the demand is for industrial hemp in terms of acres versus and I know it's often talked about where CBD oil is like you can grow it on 3,000 acres, it supplies the whole country.
Correct.
I think that when we're comparing...
there's 270,000 acres would supply every man, woman, and child with 10 milligrams of CBD.
Yeah, so it's just sort of like, okay, God, we need to start pushing this stuff a lot, or we need to
I don't have a good idea. I can tell you what our demand is, and as probably one of the more active hempcrete builders in the country, we've brought in about 75 tons of hemp so far this year. Which represents maybe 200 acres of actual hemp in the field. So it's not certainly not insignificant, but a processor like Biophil, who you just interviewed, needs 20, 30 little businesses like mine to really make a go of it. So to really keep their equipment running 20 hours a day, like a real factory, they need a lot of people like me. So we are, I think Eric Herlock just said it. We have an identity crisis in this industry. We all think we're this. We think we're this big deal, but we're actually very small.
The shrimp is
very small.
In the big sea with lots of big whales.
That's right. Yeah.
I think it's fascinating because often there's so many people who are jaded as hell from CBD or doing CBD products, and what I repeatedly keep hearing in the industrial space is, hey, we need more support, we need more staff. This is really going to be already an international, global business, because it's like, again, when we're talking about, hey, like an oak tree takes 60 years to grow, and now we can do that process in 150 days.
Right.
Huge.
It's incredible. Yeah.
Huge. When I see like all the different varieties coming down the line. So so obviously down here we've got, this is the hemp herd.
Correct. Yep.
And so we combine that then with the lye, and it will turn into this.
It turns into that. Yep. Yeah. It's got a, like I say, it's got a masonry-like quality to it. However, it's not meant to be structural, and that's sort of a theological argument in the hempcrete community because of the word hempcrete. makes people want to make it stronger.
Sure.
It needs to be no stronger than it needs to be to hold itself in place in the wall and be excellent insulation. So we're focusing very much on maximizing that side of the plant.
Great. If anybody has any more questions they want to reach out to, how can they find you, and how can they learn more information?
Sure. Yeah, we've got a phone number now, and I haven't had it memorized: 833-443-6727, or online, social media, Americhanvre Hemp, Instagram, Facebook.
And that's going to be CHANVRE.
That's right.
Right.
It's a difficult one to wrap your tongue around, but we'll get it up there.
All right, really appreciate it.
Cheers, man.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
for
Luke.
taking the time.
Yep.